she is. Hi, Keke.
How are you?
I'm doing good, girl. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no problem. No problem at
So
all.
we're gonna chat there. I like your green.
Thank you.
Let me just make sure I'm good. Mm, Okay. I think we're set. All righty, ma'am. So congrats on your latest and greatest book, What the L.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
So tell us, how did you segue into this is nonfiction, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you've written a number of great books, and now you're doing nonfiction, and you're also doing coaching and really helping people with
Yep.
that. So let's get right into it. What inspired you to write What the L, and what is it all about?
What the L was inspired by me starting my life coaching business. And I'm a personal growth and mindset coach. And I just wanted to put something together to help people just reach their best selves, to live their best life. And the words that are featured in this book, What the L, is words that we see and hear every day. We just subconsciously ignore, or we just don't know that they're there. So we don't
Mhm.
know that we have to tap into those words in order to, impact our lives in a more profound way.
Exactly. And when you talk about impacting our lives, can you give some examples about, um, I guess, some strategies or maybe tips that you might be talking about to really kind of help people?
When I say impact, I mean like something that's going to push us to our next level. It may be reading a book every day, or a little bit of a book. It may be eating mind healthy food every day. It may be listening to some type of inspirational song or something like that, meditation, anything that's going to just take you into another type of headspace, to because we have so much going on in this world. We just have to have something to say, you know what, let me take a breath, let me regroup, let me be
Yes,
intentional about the people, places, and things that I absorb so that I can be my best self. Because we already have too much negativity. So anything positive, I'm all for it. So what the L is basically 6 L words that's helping you create and maintain a new mindset to create balance in your life.
wonderful. And so, what do you hope that the book will do for readers or for any of your coaching clients? Can you give, I guess, an example of how you will use it to kind of push some people forward?
Well, I believe it all starts in the mind. So what the L is about channeling a new mindset. I think that when we think better, we do better, and we tend to be better people because, you know, so as a man thinketh, so is he, 9 times out of 10. So
Exactly.
be intentional about the things that you think about. Like, it's certain things that I don't watch, certain things I don't listen to, because I don't want to absorb that type of energy to affect anything that I have going on. And I used to didn't believe that. I used to didn't believe that, oh, I can watch anything and I'm not going to be affected by it. But the older I get, the more I know that, yes, I will be affected. I just have to know with a new mindset whether I'm going to hold on to those things or take it in, learn what I need to learn from it, and let it go. So
Exactly.
that's what I hope all the readers who read this book take away from it. Learn something within the pages of this book that will push them to become something better. And greatness is inside of all of us. It's just having a mindset to know that, why not me? It can happen to me. I am supposed to be successful. I'm supposed to be walking and operating in my purpose. Some people take longer to tap into their purpose. I thank God that I've tapped into my purpose within the last 10 years. I know that I'm put here to write, to inspire people with my words, and to help people live their best lives. That's what I am here for.
Exactly.
It's making
And
them laugh, whether it's, telling them the raw truth about something. I'm going to do it in love, and I'm going to push you to being better, because I feel like when you're not moving, you're missing out on great opportunities to do something that you're supposed to be doing.
So true. And Keke, do you have any section or passage in the book, even if it's just a little part in the beginning that you would like to read for anyone joining us?
Sure. I have a couple excerpts. I don't know which one I want to read though.
Okay. And if you're just joining me, I'm talking with the author Keke Chanel about her latest book, What the L. Keke is also, in addition to being an author, she's a podcaster, a blogger, a life coach, and she's been working with authors and collaborating with people, various people, to do really positive things.
Yes, thank you so much. Again, thank you for having me. I'll read a little bit. This is about personal growth. And it says, growth comes with discomfort. Remember that the next time you experience an uneasy feeling about doing something new and exciting, the reward is greater when we cross the finish line, but it's the journey doing the race that's most rewarding. Have a greater appreciation for tearing down any comfort zones to be set free. It is essential in how we move forward to the next phase of our lives. Learn to grow, learn to step away from your comfort zones, learn to embrace change and accept new things, learn to listen, find balance, create the life you want and deserve by renewing your mind with a new mindset.
That's so positive. And people really need that right now with the current state of things, you know, just the stress in the environment and what's going on in society.
Yes. It can be disheartening, but like I said, this book is all about having the mindset to know when to absorb things and let them go. It's about being intentional about everything that you do moving forward to level up and become your best self, to have that lifestyle that you are destined to have. And it starts with the mind. If you don't think that you deserve it, 9 times out of 10 you won't. If you don't think that you can make it or finish school or start that career, do that business. I turned my blog into a talk show back in July. I was scared, but I'm doing it. I'm on season 2 right now.
There you go.
About to do my 30th episode. So I know
Wow.
that it just takes a choice. It's the choice that you make. You have to decide.
Yeah.
Am I going to keep talking about it and let it years go by? Or am I going to just step out and do it? The worst that can happen, you fall. And guess what? You get back up again, and that way you'll know, hey, I didn't do it right this time. I know what not to do. I know what to do. And then you keep it moving.
That's right. And Keke, what would you say for any aspiring writer who's maybe struggling right now to get their ideas down and to really commit to it? With this being the new year, this is certainly the time to do something new. So what advice might you have for some writers who are a little bit frustrated or maybe even experiencing writer's block right now?
Well, I don't believe in writer's block. I just believe in taking a step away and regrouping, because anything done in too much of anything will cause burnout. So my advice to aspiring writers is to figure out your why. Why is it that you want to write? Why do you feel like it will be fulfilling to not just yourself, as well as readers and things like that? So figure out your why and go from there, and then be intentional about it. Don't cheat yourself. If you have a goal that you want to succeed, you have to do the work. Make a schedule. Make time for that. It's not going to get done overnight, and it's not going to happen if you don't do it. So implementation is the main thing when it comes to that. I don't believe in, oh, I was too busy, oh, I didn't have time, because 2020, it made me look at life so much different. It made me say, why should I put off what I could do today for tomorrow when tomorrow is not promised? So it's all about your mindset. It's all about the choice that you make to do it or not. I'm not down with the woe is me. I'll tell you quick, stop talking about it, do it. Stop worrying about people, do it. Not everybody's gonna like you. That's fine. Your tribe will find. And I'm okay with not being for everybody else. I
Mm-hmm.
tell anybody that. I know that I'm not for everybody else and not that I want to be. If people just decide to say, hey, I'm a support Keke Chanel because she's a down to earth person, she's always pouring into others, you know, she make people laugh and things like that, that's fine. But just not liking somebody because they decided to do something that you wanted to do, but you just talked about it, no, we're not doing that in this year.
And that's excellent. What would I've heard a lot of stories about people saying, well, you know, they live with people in their household. The pandemic has made it more stressful. They feel they don't have time for themselves. What about writers, creatives, even women that are dealing with having a family, spouse, and feeling like everything is kind of closing in on them in terms of trying to really get something done? What any kind of
Again,
strategy would you say for that? Because they can't just leave their family by the wayside, but they want to create. So what do you do?
I mean, it's a catch-22 because you don't want your family to feel like you're neglecting them. But I tell anybody, it's okay to have some type of me time. If it's only 10 minutes, go in the bathroom. And if you have to have your phone and write that one paragraph or a word or whatever, then do that for yourself. If it's a beautiful day and you have to go outside just to get 30 minutes in to get some type of writing done, if that's what you desire to do, you're going to make time. People make time for the things that are important to them. Put it like that.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes. So,
You know,
I know that it's hard, and I know that, you know, with the pandemic and things like that, but I don't believe in excuses. I just don't. I believe that if you want something bad enough, you will make it happen.
you will find a way. Even if you have to say, honey, I'm going to the grocery store, and you take yourself, I don't know, to the parking lot with your laptop and get a little bit of writing done before or after you finish at the store. I don't know. You got to get creative, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to get creative.
So yeah, that's what I would say. You have to be creative and you have to be intentional. So you have to have the mindset that I'm going to get some writing done today. Let me put on a show if you have smaller kids to occupy their time. Let me go ahead and cook dinner or whatever it is that you decide. Go out and pick out something. Maybe you and your spouse or your significant other or whatever have that where if I'm writing, you take care of dinner or whatever. You just have to figure out what works for you. And then just get it done. I mean, you may have to stay up an hour later or get up an hour earlier, but anything that's worth having or that's worth, you know, the importance to you, you will make it happen. You will find a way to make it happen.
That's excellent. And Keke, you do have someone here that said London Paris _ she has definitely kept me on track. And
yeah,
I'm
that's
a handful
my best
and
friend.
stubborn, but she has definitely kept me focused and determined. So you have a dedicated writer client here who's saying that you have kept her on track, and that is so important.
Yes, it is. I mean, and we all have to have a person that can hold us accountable, and we have to do the same. Like if your circle is just a yes circle and they just telling you everything that you want to hear, you need to get another circle because life doesn't work like that. If you're not pushing each other to be your best selves and level up, then it's something wrong with that because no one is supposed to be stagnant or mediocre when it comes to tapping into their greatness and their gifts and their
So
purpose.
true. And such wise words. And so Keke, where do you hope to see yourself go in 2021 in terms of your writing, your books, and anything else creative that you are setting your intention to accomplish?
Let me tell you, my word for 2020 is elevation. And that's elevation in every aspect of my life. And so far that has come to pass. Like we're in day 8 of the year and I've already signed 3 new clients. That usually doesn't happen in the beginning of the year for me as a writing coach. But it happened, and it just lets me know that God listens when you're true and you're doing the work and you're being sincere. God listens.
That's
so that it's just, I don't know. I'm still speechless behind it all. But in 2021, my plan and my goal is to just keep living day by day, keep doing the work, keep reaching the people that I'm trying to reach, and then just working with the clients that I have to make sure that their projects come to fruition. And word of mouth is everything, because the clients that I have that signed in, they tell people, and those people are signing up. So I just thank God that I'm doing something right, and I'm being obedient to the gifts that he put inside of me and working in my purpose.
Yes, truly. And so
Yeah.
now, in thinking about yourself, you talked about how you're pushing your clients. How do
Yes.
you, I guess, yourself is your first client because you mastered it on yourself. So can you talk about any strategies or maybe ritual routine that you as a writer or author have for yourself to kind of keep moving in your creativity?
I try to write something every day. I have a lot of sticky notes on my desk, and it gives me pride, I should say, to take one and throw it away because I've accomplished that. So I'll tell anybody, write
Excellent.
it down, like every morning or the night before you go to bed. Write down your list of things that you want to get accomplished the next day, and then put them somewhere. And as you accomplish those things, reward yourself. It may be like a Coca-Cola, a little cookie or something. Reward yourself for every task that you complete. So the next day is going to motivate you to do even more if you're able to do that. So that's how
Yeah.
I don't really have a writing ritual. I just write something every day because I'm a blogger. So I blog 3 days a week. I have to come up with ways to attract new people to be guests on my show. And thank God that they have been keeping me busy, because I'm booked through uh, August of this year. Thank God for that.
Right.
And
And I think I'm somewhere in there now.
you
I
are.
don't know if you
Yes, you
put
are.
me
You
in
coming
yet,
up?
but okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna remind you when it's time. You're
Okay.
not this month or next month, but you're coming up, and I'll
I'm
make sure that
in
you know
spring.
when.
Spring.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, good.
Exactly. But as far as my clients, I tell them before they even sign a contract, if you're not ready to do the work, then I'm not your coach, because
Okay.
I give homework. I push you to be your best self. If life happens and you need to stop for a minute, that's one thing. But if you're just making excuses or canceling, and because we do writing sessions, some clients I have 2 to 3, sometimes I have 4 or 5, sometimes I just have once a week. But I need you to be consistent, and I need you to stay hungry,
Yeah.
to complete your goal, because I'm gonna write my books. My book's gonna
Right.
get done. You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna
2021. You
make
hear
sure my
that?
stuff is done. I was supposed to release my memoir on my birthday, which was the first, but
Mm-hmm.
I decided to just wait. And I mean, why rush it? I want it to be the
Yeah.
best that it can be, so that people can get out what they're supposed to get out. And it's a journey of self-love, because I didn't always love myself. I didn't always feel like I was loved by other people. And I realized that it was just something I was holding on subconsciously
Mm.
that was making me think like that. I grew up,
Wow.
I had a great childhood. I had people around me that loved me and showed me that. I was just, I guess, overlooking it, or I don't know what was going on during that time. But I talk about it in the book, and it got a little emotional. But I think that anybody who reads it would be inspired by it.
I'm sure, Keke, because just by the way you talk, I can tell, how they say people write the way they talk, and you're very conversational. Your dialogue is very relatable. And so
Mhm.
I know that when you tell your life story, that it's going to reach people and really bless people,
And
you
I'm
know.
split up in different in different books. The first one is called Finding the Sun, and that's my
Mhm.
journey of self-love. And the second one I have in the making is called Finding My Voice.
Wow.
That is a personal journey of self-reflection, because I didn't
Hmm.
always speak up. I felt like I should just stay in the shadows, because what I had to say wasn't good enough, or people were going to laugh, make fun of me, and things like
Mm.
that. I had to get out of my own head to realize that no, you have a voice and you should be heard. The things that you
Exactly.
have to say are relevant and are important, and you are somebody. You was kind, you was important. That you watch the help.
Exactly. I know, girl. And so, but how do we learn that? Like, you know, do is it something that, a point in your life, with experience or with mentorship? Like, how does a person learn that? Like, where do you find the knowledge or the inspiration for that if no one taught you, is what I'm asking.
Um, I mean, I think that God is in everything that I do. So I believe that you have to develop a personal relationship with God, or get somebody that you know who's down for you, and just
Yeah.
talk. Like, tell them, say, look, I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to listen and pour yourself out there. Somebody that's going to listen and not make you feel bad for opening up. Not everybody is supposed
Exactly.
to know everything that you have going on, and not everybody is going to be able to help you through it. So I think we all have at least one or two people that we can talk to that's not going to make us feel, a certain way by opening up, being
Yeah,
vulnerable. There is
for
strength in being
sure.
vulnerable. You have, sometimes, in order to know your strengths, you have to get weak. You have to know what your weaknesses are as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just an advocate for, no, we're not doing self-pity over here.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's an
we all gonna
excellent
have some
point.
bad days, and we're gonna cry about it, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna move
Yep.
on.
And
We're not
that's
standing up.
those are excellent points, Keke. And we have someone here on the live, Words Can Sing Too, who said, I went searching for it. I wanted to be better, so I figured out how to find out how everybody else was doing it. Good point.
Mm.
Thank you for that. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's learning. I used to say when I was younger, well, when people ask me, well, how did you know that? Or how did you know not to do that? And I remember thinking and saying at times, well, I would watch how not to do something and see that it didn't work out for this person or that person. And that kind of helped me as much as, experience and the stumble and all of that,
You
watching
have to.
other people.
And that goes
So,
back with intention and having that mindset, because we got a lot of whoopings growing up. My mama whooped our ass. She whooped us if we did something. But my older sister and I, we didn't get whooped for the same thing. She didn't whoop
mhm,
us for the same thing. I'm like,
right.
we already experienced an ass whooping for doing this, so we're not doing that anymore. If we get in trouble, it'll be for something else.
Something
So
new.
yes, exactly. So life is gonna give it to us. It's gonna give us carrot balls and lemons and things like that. We just have to know how to make some Kool-Aid or something,
Hmm.
and go on. You learn from what you learn from. You take for it what you must, and let everything else go. Because if it doesn't serve you in
Exactly.
any way to push you to be better, why are you holding on to it? And that goes for people, places, and things. It's just
Yes, I
sometimes
love
it's
that.
sometimes that
People,
you have to
places,
let go.
and
And I'm
things.
preaching to myself right now, because I have a closet full of clothes that I can no longer wear because I lost a
Give
lot
it
of
to
weight,
Goodwill,
and I need
Salvation
to get it
Army.
out of my closet. So I need to let some of that stuff go. So as I'm talking to you guys, I'm also talking to myself, and I feel like you are your first student. If you can't take your own words and apply them to your life, don't expect anybody that's listening
Hello.
to do the
Take,
same thing. So
take your own master class.
exactly.
Yes, I totally understand and I agree with it. Before you become a coach or
Yep.
some type of counselor on people, you need to be doing that and put yourself in your own program.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's ongoing, right? It never stops, right, Keke? We just always are trying to get better.
You At least you should.
Yes.
Because we have some old fools, and when I say old fools, I'm not talking about in age. It's just some people that you can't, no matter how positive you try to be, they're just not trying to hear what you have to say. They stuck
Mm-hmm.
in their way. They like how their lives is, and that's how it's gonna be. And you have to realize that, yeah, I just speak to you and go on, because I don't have time to be my words can't fall on deaf ears. So,
Mm, there
hey,
you
how you
go.
doing? Exactly. Go ahead.
Keke, we have somebody in the live, someone who's joining in and listening, who says your conscious plays a major role in self-discipline. This is
Mm-hmm.
Country Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Every attempt to do something wrong and you all of a sudden stop, that's the conscious, the spirit within you keeping you on track.
Exactly.
Very good
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
so, Keke, what's next for you in terms of, hey, what's coming up this week for you? And how can people support you in this new year?
Well, I mean, Monday, my show, Kicking It with Keke, is every Monday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, right here on my IG. So I would love for you guys to tune in. And like I said, that's every Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. We talk about all kind of things. I have different guests from all walks of life. They may write books, they may be coaches, they may sing, they may do whatever. We just talk about what's going on, talk about what they have going on, and we just have a good time. As far as like writing goes, I write every day. My blog is kickingitwithkiki.wordpress.com. That's where the show comes from, the blog.
Yes,
Yes.
the blog.
You could find all of that out on thekekechanel.com, my website. It has information about the show. It has information about, my coaching. It has the link to my blog, as well as all of my social media is the Keke Chanel. Except for Facebook, it's just regular Keke Chanel. I also have my show's Facebook page, which is Kicking It with Keke, without the G. Is Kicking It with IN, no G on it. So just keep that in mind. But that's what's next for me, as well as trying to make sure that I get my book the way that I want it before I put it out, working with clients, just trying to meditate and eat right and live healthy.
I love that. And we all have to do that. And so are you someone that sets New Year's resolutions, or do you do vision boards and things like that for the new
Vision
year?
board. I don't do resolutions. I do vision boards, and I haven't done mine yet for this year. And I set goals. I set realistic goals, and I strive every day to achieve those goals, but I don't rush myself. It will happen. As long as I do the work every day to achieve something that I've set for myself, I believe that it will happen. Because resolutions, people set resolutions about losing weight, and by the end of January, they ain't going to the gym no more.
Right. It's almost like it seems like it's working against you to say, oh yeah, I'm setting a resolution. These are my resolutions. It's like, and another thing, you don't have to tell everybody what your resolutions and goals are. Just kind of marinate on that a little bit to make sure you can do it before you tell everybody else. I didn't hear you.
Some things you just have to keep for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And keeping it sacred, the whole intention. And then it's like brewing. And then when it's time, you can blossom that.
Hit them with the 1-2. Yes.
So Keke, just one more time, if you didn't do it at the beginning, can you just go ahead and give your websites and all your social media for us before we close out, and I'll pick up with Carlos.
Okay. Yes. Like I said, I am Keke Chanel. I'm a blogger. I am an author. I am a writing and life coach. You can catch me on all of the social medias at the Keke Chanel, except for Facebook. Facebook is just regular Keke Chanel. My show, Kicking It with Keke, is every Monday night right here on IG Live on my page. And it
What
happens
time?
at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Okay, 8 Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. All right.
Yep. Good. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much who Keke is.
And so if people want to work with you on becoming a client in this new year, what is the best way for them to reach you if they want to kind of get that started?
They can DM me, or you can go to my website, www.thekekechanel.com, and go under my services page, and it has a contact form where you can see where my availability is as far as scheduling, and just set up an appointment. It's just that simple. I'm easy.
That sounds good. Easy breezy, creative, all of that.
Well, yes, and look, y'all go pick up this book, What the L, Finding Balance, Creating and Maintaining a New Mindset. It is available on Amazon.com. You can go to my website as well. They're not available on my website, but it will take you to the link where you can get it on Amazon. If you type in Keke Chanel, all of my books will come up, and What the L is a part of that catalog. So yeah, go get that. It's a short read. It's not very long, but you will be inspired by reading this book. And I'm not just plugging it because I wrote it. I wrote it with intention. I asked God to give me the words and the knowledge for this book to inspire people to be their best self. So
excellent. Good. Congratulations again on your new book, Keke, and thank you so much for joining me on Nerdacity Podcast IG Live edition.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you for always, being here, and you're doing a great job with your podcast as well as
Thank you so much. I'm trying.
Yeah, you're
Slow
doing it.
and
No, you
slow
doing
and
it.
steady. Okay.
You are
Well,
doing it.
it's nice to have creative friends and people in my network like you, who are constantly doing things, being positive, collaborating with other writers, and just out there being inspiring. And so it's great. It's amazing.
Yes,
Keep
ma'am.
doing what you're doing in 2021.
Of course.
Okay, Keke. Well, I'm going to see if Carlos is ready to join me now.
Okay. You
Okay.
enjoy the rest of your evening. Again, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
All right. Bye.
Okay. And I was just speaking with inspirational author, life coach, blogger, and podcaster, Keke Chanel. And if you still want to join me, I'm going to pick up with another author by the name of Carlos Harleaux. And I'm going to double check my pronunciation of his last name to make sure that I'm on point with that. And so, Carlos, are you there now? Carlos, hey, how's it going?
Hello, how you doing, dude?
All
DuEwa,
right,
how are you?
thank you. Yes, it's DuEwa.
DuEwa, okay.
Yes,
Want to make sure I had it right.
and I have your book here, A Swipe in the Wrong Direction. Boy, this is something else. You're picking up on all types of contemporary behaviors and activities people are trying to do for
Yes,
dating and all of that. So
yes.
thanks for your patience. I had
Oh,
a
of course.
10-minute delay or so, but we'll definitely want to give you your time on this podcast interview.
Oh,
And
thank you.
so,
Thanks for having me on.
sure, no problem. And Carlos, congratulations on your book. And for those viewing, I know it might be backwards, but this is Carlos's new book. He just had a wonderful release for his book, A Swipe in the Wrong Direction. As you can see here, really, really nice, riveting color. And so, Carlos, please
Thank you.
talk about your inspiration behind the book and everything you want to share with us about your new book.
Okay, sure, sure. Well, thank you again, DuEwa, for having me on, and I really appreciate it. And I have to first give credit to you for keeping me going with writing when I joined the what is it, the
Exactly. It
national.
was the Never Scared Writers
Yes,
virtual
yes,
writing with
for the month of
DuEwa.
November.
And I think
Yes.
was it November? It was December we started, I
Oh, yeah.
think.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
you're
like
right.
the
It was
first
December.
Sunday in December we started.
Yeah, that's right. And I usually participate like in the NaNoWriMo or the National Novel
Oh,
Writing Month.
yeah.
But I was debating, and the funny thing is, before I joined your group, I was thinking, I may not do it this year. And then when we connected, I thought, oh, there's conviction. I need to do something.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if I shared that with you, but I really appreciate it. It was really
Wow.
great
That's
being a part of the
amazing.
group.
And I feel really good to hear that, because sometimes I do things. I'm one of those writers that's not just a writer that keeps to herself and just writes my book and goes on. I've
Right.
always been someone that likes to connect with people, even when we were just on MySpace, or even, before all of that. I used to do a lot of events in New York City, and I would promote
Oh,
and
no.
feature other writers and poets. At the time, I was just doing poetry. So I've always been a community type artist, trying to pull people with me and do little things here and there. I don't know why I'm like that, but I'm just
It's a good way to
not the
be.
kind of person that wants to just keep to myself. And so it's great, amazing meeting people like you. I met you on Twitter, I think.
Yep, that's right.
And we've been networking ever since. It's been awesome to see
Yes.
everything you're doing and how you use social media to promote your book. So I want to say kudos to you as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yes, yes. So my book that's out now, it's a novella. It's my first time ever doing a novella, and it was challenging because I thought initially going into it, oh, a novella is shorter pages, so it's going to be easier to tell this story. And it actually was the other way around. It was harder.
Wow. Because you have to tighten it up and
Yes.
pack it in, but still make it intriguing and interesting for your readers.
Right.
Right?
Right. That's so true. Yeah, so that was a challenge a little bit for me initially. So I kind of finished the book actually in December of 2018, And my good author friend, Akila Renee, she reached out to me right before Christmas. And so she said, and it was that same year. So I was gearing up for the promotion of this book.
Okay.
And I hadn't sent it to print or anything yet, but I was just kind of getting all my ducks in a row for that. And she said, hey, do you want to write a joint book together? And I thought, oh, cool. You know, I had never done that before. So I said, all right, I'll put my book on the back burner. And we released our book together only for one night. And I decided, okay, well, now this year, or last year, I should say, is when I decided to start doing the pre-sales, and then the official release was in January. And during that time when I was writing with Akila, I had people ask me, well, what happened to Mike? He's one of the characters in the novel series that I had that preceded this.
Right.
And so many people were asking me that. And then I thought, well, maybe this delay was a good thing, because it allowed me to change the story and kind of tweak it and make it specific to Mike. So I wrote it in a way where if you haven't read the series, you can still read it and get it. But there's also some nuggets in here that tie back to the novel series.
Yeah.
And I feel like now with this quarantine time that we're in, it just really was, I'm a big believer in everything happens in its own time. And I think that because I didn't put it out in 2018 or even 2019, it's now is the perfect time, because people are at home, and, you know, online dating is more of a reality, I think, than ever, because you can't really get out as much, you know, as we used to be able to.
That is so true. And so, you know, what has been, so basically, is this the first novella with the spinoff of your character from the previous?
Yes.
With Mike? Okay.
Yes.
And
so Cookie is done. Well, so it started with Fortune Cookie, was the very first novel I did. Actually, I released it about 5 years ago. And then the next novel that followed that one was No Cream in the Middle, and then When the Cookie Crumbles. And initially, I thought, okay, it's buttoned up, trilogy, we're done, on to the next thing. And then when I started getting so many questions about Mike, I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll, you know, this new book I had, which wasn't a spinoff at first, I reworked it and made it into a spinoff. So after this book, that whole series will be kind of put to bed in a sense, but I do have some other things I'm working on too.
Oh, that's really good. And so are you kind of always working on a book, or do you, or you know what I mean? Is it kind of feel like, all right, I put that out, now let me jump to this? Or do you try to spend some time promoting in one and seeing how you can keep extending it and extending it even longer, you know?
Yes.
What's your methods generally?
So it's funny. So when I started, I released my first book in 2011. And then after people asking me questions about publishing, things like that, I started a publishing company in 2013. And there's been times, because I put out about, well, maybe some years over a book a year. So it's been like maybe 13 books now. So I've had moments where I said, all right, I'm going to sit this year out and I want to take a break, and the ideas just keep coming. And so it really has just happened organically. I haven't really tried to just continuously put out books, but that's just kind of the way it is falling for me. But yeah, it just kind of happened. And with this book in particular, I made it a double release because I have a book called Cataracts that's a poetry book as well.
I did see that. And I think I remember seeing Cataracts first, some of the promo for that.
Yes.
You know, and it has the graphics with the blurry vision. Or the... I love that. Like,
Thank
you really come up with some creative things. Even the cover for this is like, oh my gosh. You know, it looks scary in a way, you know.
Yeah, I was a little nervous about doing this cover. And shout out to Shannon Rose. Her business name is Element Rose, but she's the one who designed the cover. And I told her I wanted to do something a little more on the edge compared to some of the other covers I've done. And she definitely delivered that. I told her the concept and she just ran with it. So
yes, it is. Author Keke Chanel, who were just on before you, said it's a great cover.
Oh,
Really,
thank you.
I mean, it really does make you want to read, and especially the title too. And you put wrong almost like it's written in blood or something, you know?
Right.
And that really makes it even more like, oh my God, I have to read this. You know, what happens? So definitely. And so, Carlos, are you offering a Kindle edition for this book, or how are most folks reading it? Is it in paperback or ebook?
That's a great question. So I don't have it on ebook just yet, but I will be releasing both A Swipe in the Wrong Direction, and this is the Cataracts book.
Okay. And that's the one I'm used to seeing. That's like in your profile picture.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of those are only available in print right now, but I will have them on ebook later this year, and they're available on my website, also on Amazon as well. But if it's on my website, then I can sign them. So I prefer if people to order it there. That way, it's more personalized. I like to sign the books. If it's on Amazon, then they just ship it directly from there. But
and I like doing that too. I find that people appreciate the personal touch if they can receive it with your signature on it. You know, it means something for them.
Right. I think so too. Yeah.
And so, Carlos, so far, what has been your reader response, or in terms of people who knew your previous books and now you have this new book, novella, what has been some of the response you've gotten from Cataracts or A Swipe in the Wrong Direction?
Well, so I'll start off with A Swipe in the Wrong Direction. For that one, it's been really interesting and great for me, because with every book I try to, it's a goal of mine to gain new readers. And so for this book, as far as the early release time frame, it's been available for pre-sale since November, but officially released this month. But I've gained a lot of new readers with this book, and that's been really exciting for me, because I always like to, of course, keep my old readers, but also gain some new ones along the way.
Exactly.
So that's been exciting. And there's two different versions of this book. So there's a swipe left edition, and then there's a swipe right edition.
Oh,
and so,
well, let me ask you, I've heard of the whole swipe left, swipe right. Which one is the one you don't want to do?
Okay, so let me tell you, I would say I have no online dating experience, so I had to do a lot of research for this book.
You did some research, okay.
Yes, I was asking people, right. Let me say, not me activating an account is research, but just looking online, asking people, friends that I know that have done online dating, how it works, things like that. I wouldn't say I'm opposed to it necessarily, but I've just never done it or never been interested enough to go forward and do it.
Right.
But it's funny, because when I first did the pre-sales, everybody was getting the left edition. I mean, I'd have a few of the right, but everybody was choosing the swipe left one. And it's funny, within the last 3 or 4 weeks now, the swipe right has eclipsed the sales from swipe left. So now it's starting to balance out. Okay. So
and this is Swipe in the Wrong Direction.
Yes, the book is titled Swipe in the Wrong Direction. So it's on my website, I have it where the editions are labeled, but the cover is exactly the same.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's just it's basically just the epilogue that's different. It's the same story, and then there's about a 4 to 5 page epilogue at the end, and then that basically tells what has happened after that point, or the ending of the story.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so which one is your favorite?
Oh, that's hard. I feel like I don't have kids, but
it's funny to ask an author that, but we authors, we have our favorites. We have our favorite characters, our favorite books, additions to our own work, even if we don't share it with other people.
True. Right? I'll have to say, because it's kind of like, for me, they're like my babies, because I don't have kids, but I love them equally, I'll say. But if I had to choose, I would say probably the swipe left one is my favorite.
Okay.
Because I'm really into, and it's funny how you mentioned that the cover is kind of like scary almost.
Yeah.
I haven't really delved into the horror genre, but that's something I do want to eventually do.
Okay.
And I like the swipe left version because it's kind of an unexpected ending. And, I think in life, in real life, sometimes, we don't always get the happy ending with the bow, wrapped around it. So I think it's
Truly.
reflective of real life too.
Okay. And, are you an author who you are really committed to fleshing out one particular character's story and journey? Or do you tend to kind of go, okay, I've got some new ideas. I'm going to put that character down who has been in 2 or 3 of your books and kind of start developing with someone else?
That's a good question. So I typically, in the novel series, kind of what I did was I kept those core characters and I basically, built upon it and added more characters. Now with the novella, the interesting thing about that is it's almost all new characters with the exception of Mike. Well, Mike and Cookie, who is featured in this book, and then
Right.
Cookie's father, who was also in the previous novels. And then there's mentions of some other characters, but I would say as far as the ones who actually have some substantial page time, if you will, it would be those 3. So yeah, I like to, hone in on the characters that hooks people in, because I kind of related to music in a way. It's almost like, you have like your favorite artist and they come out and then they totally flip and do an album of another genre. And it's
Right.
like, wait, what? I like,
you're like, wait, where did the, what I knew, their style, where did that go?
Yeah.
The original. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
so
it's
do
like
you
I
worry
thought,
about that? Do you worry about surprising or even disappointing your readership or your fan base? Or do you feel like they're going to ride with you and just as you find new creative ways of introducing characters and stories?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I feel like my heart wants to say, oh, just go with what you want and just put it out there. But my mind is always conflicting to say, well, you don't want to totally alienate,
Right.
your fan base or your reader base. So it's a little bit of both. But I'm a big believer, and I watch signs or pay attention to signs. So a lot of times I'll be working on a book and somebody will say something or I'll see something on TV and it always kind of confirms like, okay, this is a direction that you should be going in.
That's wonderful. And I'm glad that you said that. It sounds like you will listen and hear what readers have to say, but you have your own kind of creative intuition about how you want to go about introducing future stories. And it's so
Right.
like you're using a balance in that.
Right. I try to, at least.
And it looks like one of your friends or fans here at God1D said, don't worry, we will ride with you.
Oh, hey. Thank you so much.
So that's
I
excellent.
appreciate that.
And thank you all, those of you who are here joining us. I'm talking with Carlos. And Carlos, can you pronounce your last name? I want to make sure I don't mispronounce it.
Oh, sure. It's Harleaux. So it's almost like it's spelled like L-O-W at the end, but just spelled funny. Oh, I tell people it's like Papados. I don't know if they have them there, but I know.
Are you from New Orleans?
I'm not, but I get that a lot. My dad is, though. But not from New Orleans, but he's from Baton Rouge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have a lot of family from there, but I'm actually originally from Houston, but I've been here in the Dallas area for like 17 years now.
Okay, for a while. Okay, I
Yeah.
just wonder because I saw the spelling of your name is more French,
Right.
And so that's really cool. It makes for a really neat author name, right? Do a lot of people say that?
That's true. That's true. It is.
Ask you, is that a pen name or is that your name?
I have actually had people ask me that question before, and they think that I just made it up, and it's like, no, it's my real name.
Right. So that's exactly. And author Keke Chanel says, okay, Louisiana, because she's from Louisiana too.
Oh, hey,
so
okay,
you all have
all right.
that in common. That's so interesting.
Nice.
And I think you all are my first writer friends from Louisiana, so that's really cool. I know a lot of people from the East Coast, but it's nice to meet other folks from and your friend here has said Dallas has claimed you as well. So you got
just kind of true.
You got a home over here and you got a home over there. That's really cool. And so, Carlos, you know, what's coming up for you? What do you want folks to know about what you might have in the works, or maybe even some virtual type events that you are doing to promote your books?
Okay. Well, right now, I just completed actually on the 3rd, because that was the official release date for both books, A Swipe in the Wrong Direction and Cataracts. I did a live book launch, and that was my first time doing anything like that as far as a book signing. I kept debating and going back and forth, and I thought, okay, well, do I want to do something in person? And I just didn't want to put anybody in jeopardy, you know, and I would hate for anyone to have, you know, potentially caught in COVID at my event, so I wouldn't want to. So I did that, and then I'll be sharing clips from that, and then just working on. I can't say exactly. I do have something that'll probably be coming at the end of this year, but I am working on a new book, which won't be out this year, probably sometime next year. It's the one I was working on actually. During the writers group that you hosted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm still working on that.
Does it have anything to do with, you know, swiping right or left in the wrong direction, or?
No, it's going to be a totally different book. It's I can tell you the name of it. It's going to be called Trigger Point, but it's spelled Pointe, instead of just with the point, the traditional spelling. And the guy, the main character, his last name is Point with an E.
Wow.
And so it's gonna it's not based on my life, but it's kind of loosely, you know how, I guess you could say, you go through situations and you know you won't do certain things, but it's like, oh, if I could do this and get away with it, then maybe I would think about it.
Oh no, you're giving me flashbacks to that one movie with what was it? Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
they were in some lab doing something with him. The next thing you know, he went invisible. This man went crazy all over town doing mischievous things.
Yes.
Because he was invisible and nobody could see him. So, you know, is it like a little bit of what would you do if no one would know it was you or something like that?
It's kind of, okay, so the best way I could describe it is, have you ever watched the TV show Breaking Bad?
I've heard of it, but I have not watched it, no.
Okay, so it's kind of sort of like that. So it's the gist of it is going to be this: he's a really good guy, you know, he is, you know, married, he goes through basically all of these setbacks that just really disrupt his pocketbook, you could say, and then even his mental state. Because it's kind of going to talk a little bit too about like mental health, and it's basically he's going to turn to illegal means to make money. But the way I'm writing the character is, you know, he's your everyday guy. So it's like you in one hand you're like, why is he doing this? But on the other hand, it's like, oh, I could see myself being there if I was in that situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not as if he already starts off like that, like a gangster or criminal or something. He has an unfortunate turn of events maybe and lands himself in a, oh my gosh, you know, what am I going to do? And it's sort of like, well, I could, you know, do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those kind of situations.
Sure.
Yes.
That sounds really interesting. I mean, do you think you're going to have like some mystery in that, or it's more like just kind of a thriller action?
I definitely want to have some mystery aspects in it, and maybe even kind of introduce some of the horror, kind of tease that a little bit or test that out. Maybe try some of that in there too. But I will be doing something for, or leading up to the release that'll be at the end of this year. I can't say what it is yet since it's not final, but it will be something that's not necessarily book related, but it will tie into the book, but it's not necessarily just like book promotion. So every book I do, I try to do something a little different or a little new from the previous release. And I don't know if you feel this, but I know especially during COVID, it's even more difficult to stand out as an author and be creative as far as like on social media, because
do you think so? I find that. Now I will say I probably don't have as many followers as you and Keke on IG. I kind of the IG I have is a restart. I had another IG where I had a lot more followers and I like deleted it and then started back over. So for me, I'll say it's been difficult for me to gain, I think, more of the followership because Instagram was my last platform that I developed. I was more active on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm good on those. But so for me, it's not so much difficulty to stand out because I can't really compare myself. Everyone's doing something so different, and a lot of the things that I've written, I have yet to release. You know, some people don't know I'm writing fiction. I have a number of things in the works, but it takes me some years per project. Maybe, you know what I mean? I'm more slow going, and I'm doing, you know, look what we're doing now. I'm doing podcasts and things. I could be writing, but instead you know, I still like to promote others. I still like to collaborate and chat it up and all that kind of stuff. And I know it takes time away from my writing, and it takes time away from me promoting myself, but it's kind of hard for me just to do one thing. So I think that's my quandary. How I can understand that. To one thing.
No, I totally get, I understand. I understand that feeling for sure. I think it's, and I have a little bit of that too. I think one thing that I really miss is, and that thankfully I've been blessed to where I haven't seen like a dip in sales from not doing in-person events.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I really miss is just doing those in-person book signings and things like that.
For sure. Doing in-person, oh yeah, it's great. And someone told me, you know what, I did, thank you so much, Keke. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Some years ago, I did the Harlem Book Fair when, you know, a lot of people were really, really doing that. And every summer I used to do that and take my books, right? And on this particular, the last time I did it, I think maybe it was 2014 or 2015. It's been a few years. I had somebody help me out the first time because I was doing 2 events at the Harlem Book Fair. Have you heard of it, the Harlem Book Fair?
Yes, I have.
It's normally a huge event, and people come from all over the country with their books, right?
Yes.
So I walked away from my table for an hour or two to do a panel and do something else. I had 2 events going on. And the person who manned my table was like, nobody wanted to talk to me. They were like, you got all your, you know, when you're here, people want to talk to you and then they're buying. When you walk away, they're like, oh, these are cute, and they keep going. And I'm like, wow. That's when I realized, Carlos, people are not so much buying your book, they're buying you. They want to buy into you. They want to talk to you, see you, feel your energy, and they want to support you. And that's when I learned, I never thought it was me. I just thought, okay, they want to buy the book. But that was my first experience with people buying because they get me in person, as opposed to, because I thought I could put anybody at that table and sell my books. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know, I'm not surprised that you had that result, because I can feel that energy, like even with our exchange. I know this is our first time actually talking, but even with that exchange through social media, like you have a very like warm personality. So I can see how people would, you're welcome. I can see how people would, you know, really want, like you said, buy into you and not just
they didn't buy when I wasn't there. And I don't know if, And I don't know if, is that conscious or is it, oh, you know, you see the person, they're right in front of you. And then I do my spiel, you know, and I'm not a salesman or anything per se, but I had something that I would say and, hey, sign my email list and how are you and what are you into? And then I didn't even think I know I might be killing the point, but I'm just saying